Hey y'all, ain't that something? That ain't squash. Them are yellow cucumbers. Ain't that a mess? No, I'm talking about the minnow bucket to harvest in. I couldn't find my bushel basket, so y'all know me, I'm gonna get her done. So I got the old minnow bucket, and here we go. No, those old cucumbers got too big and ripe over the last week and a half or two, and they'll just stay where they lay until the old bird finds them, I guess. Got me thinking about missed moments. A lot of things over the last few days have had me thinking along that line. Shared a story. I'm sure most of y'all have read it before, if you hadn't read it for the first time, on the page Sunday, about an old fisherman down in Mexico, and an American businessman ran into him. He come in with a pretty good catch of tuna, and the businessman kind of got excited and asked him how long it took him. He said a few hours. He said, why didn't you stay out there longer and catch some more? He said, well, this is all my family needs. He said, well, what do you do with the rest of your time? He said, well, I play with my kiddos and maybe take a siesta with my wife. In the evening, go into town, sing a few songs, play guitar, see my friends. And the businessman said, well, bud, I've got an MBA at Harvard, pretty smart in the business realm, and I can make you a lot of money. We go into business and you start fishing a little longer and catching all those big fish, and you'll be able to make $1 billion. And he said, well, what can I do with that? He said, well, it'd take about 15 or 20 years. Then you can retire and spend time with your kids, maybe take a siesta with your wife, just kind of hang out with your friends and sing, and don't confuse that old boy. He was already doing it and didn't have to have the stress to go with it. Was blessed with, I think we're all blessed with moments, and realizing more and more we need to seize each one of them. I know I talk about it a lot, but I don't know if everybody gets it quite like they should. Maybe in time they will. They say when the student's ready, the old teacher will appear. Teacher's been teaching me a lot of stuff here lately. And I thought about today, even today, somebody has found out that probably not going to be married anymore. Maybe their wife or husband left them. Maybe they got a catastrophic news medically. Probably somebody even lost a loved one today, I'm sure. And somebody started a new journey of marriage. Maybe somebody celebrated the birth of a child. And maybe somebody just had an old bluebell kind of day, nothing special, just living, being happy. Then there are those that are still dealing with whatever horrible things that have happened to them, trying to work through them. They're all moments. We have to take them as they come and know that they're temporary, good and bad. And none of us are going to be here in 200 years. None of us watching live today anyway. We need to learn to embrace those, even the hurt, get through it, because better days will come. Notice I had some sunflowers today, y'all. Told you they was coming. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? I wouldn't trade one missed moment with Mom, and I could give a rip about those cucumbers. They can lay right there, because got more on the vine. Even if we didn't, that'd be all right too. One of the biggest changes going on, lots of change going on around me, for my dad especially. I guess it was the early 90s when I was running that little old Brookshire Brothers produce rack in Lufkin on Timberland. That store's not there anymore. They've moved it. But young, just got married, baby on the way, my oldest. And as most, was looking for a little extra income. Had a gentleman came in several times, and we'd strike up a conversation, and he told me about an opportunity to make a little extra money, to build wealth, and take a little time. So I went and had an evening with coffee with him, and he drew some circles for me and told me that if I do this and do that and get friends and family involved and keep plugging and keep moving, that I could build a sizable amount of wealth. I know all of us have seen those type of things, and they come and go, I guess. This one was one of the originals, Amway it was. I'm sure most of you have been approached about it at some point in your life, if you're ready of age. But I did. I joined up with him, we became good friends, but more than anything, I learned about free enterprise, and that was near and dear to my heart anyway. Good people. And started off a journey that I never knew, and he either. What would it be? Y2K brought, of course, goofiness on all of our parts, and I kind of stepped away from a fairly large network that I had built. Hadn't really got those six-figure checks they talked about, but it was a good fellowship just the same. Life moved on, but I'll never forget the first day that Dad found out about Wally and Patsy in Lufkin, Texas. It was my first big Amway convention, probably about 3 months in, and I bounced in Dad's home, him and Mom there in Huntsville. So excited, gonna make $1 million, gonna all this. Going to St. Louis to a big convention. And Dad, in his unending wisdom, with love, said, "Son, that sounds great. You just need to be careful." And I just tossed to Dad, "You don't understand these." Dad, you don't. He said, "Just be careful." Well, careful we were, and Wally and Patsy and I have remained friends through a lot of life storms. But more importantly, when Mom and Dad moved to Lufkin, Wally and Patsy and them became very, very dear, dear friends. They've been in every sickness, ailment, held a vigil there at hospice and at the hospital with Mom. Patsy had a massive heart attack through that ordeal. She's in Houston, has went through a quadruple bypass surgery. She's doing fine. You can always say an extra prayer for them. But they was facing a life change in moving south to New Braunfels area as they aged to be with their son. That was already imminent. Dad lost, of course, his partner of 52 years, and now his best friend was leaving. But we understand that things happen, and the move has ramped up a little bit, and it's going to happen a little bit quicker than we thought. I realized it today when we was at Wally's house helping him pack up some things, and they've always been so very supportive of me and my family, and they are like family. How big the wealth that was built from drawing circles for Amway for a few months. Never got a check of any size. And my goodness, what wealth. Don't know that you could replace that. Wally surprised me today. He needed me to, come and mow his yard. A little bit of a yard there, and their house is sold. And we're packing up the garage, and as I finished mowing with a mower that, goodness, it's much as some cars, I guess. Had about 50 hours on it. He told me to load it on the trailer and take it to the farm. It was mine. And now, I think I'll name it George, his favorite founding father. Old George Washington. To have that tool to be able to keep this place up. He taught me how to plant tomatoes, and they've become very beautiful, loaded with tomatoes. I've lost some of them to cutworm. Didn't do the research, but I'm gonna put a little cornmeal out on them, and that'll get that back. But I guess out of 200 plants you can lose 50 or 60 and not miss much, right? He loaded something else up in the truck along with a lot of chemicals and things that the movers can't take. And it's an old pea sheller, actually fairly new. Knew I'd need the peas shelled and wanted to help out. Friendship beyond monetary value. If that old mower blows up tomorrow, or that pea sheller fails to work, or God forbid we lose Wally anytime soon, those tokens in that love for another human being and a lifelong of friendship all started off at the Leaf Lettuce in Brookshire Brothers in Lufkin, Texas. Been so good to my mom and dad, and we played many, many games of Crazy Bee Rummy. on that table there off Southwood Drive. Played it so long until Mom couldn't even count, and would have to wait for 10-15 minutes because she still thought it was her turn, and nobody was going to tell her any different. Good friends, moments. So maybe don't worry about them old yellow cucumbers on the vine. It's not what it's about. Live in the moment, seize it, and make it happen. And if you don't have a bushel bucket, just get you an old minnow bucket. It'll hold that squash and them cucumbers just the same. It's been a good day here today as we learn to navigate new waters. Most of you have. But always welcome prayers for all those that are hurting and in life transition. Just have to learn to move on, celebrate the good stuff. Let me get on here and do a quick roll call. I think my eyes are sweating. It's so hot out here, so we'll change it up a little bit. See who all's checking in today. Go out here where I can prop up on this old plow and see what y'all doing this evening. Corn's about ready to pick. I will say real quick, I'm so proud of these peas. In that same spot last year in the fall when I planted them, they did well, but the old aphids or whatever, those little white bugs that just take over a pea plant, swarmed in and wiped out the crop. And I haven't put one stitch of artificial pesticide or fertilizer for the matter on these old peas. I did plant some marigolds, and these are the big ones, but I want y'all to look at these peas. Let's see here. If you catch them back up, you may have to watch it again, but these things are loaded down completely. Those are purple hulls. They grew on some good ground. Got a few weeds in them. Tilled out what we could and left the rest. But we're probably about a week from picking and getting purple fingers. So blessed that we was able to do that. And God smiled on it. We got the right amount of rain. And they're making peas. In spite of, right? If this connection keeps going in and out, if you miss some of it, you can jump back and watch it later if you care to. Let me see if I can call off everybody real quick. Let's see. There's Miss Alicia. How are you, ma'am? In North Carolina. Roxanne. There's Patricia. How are you? Margaret. Good to see you. And there's Leanne. Let's see who else we got on here. There's Miss Emily Camille. Good to see you. And Billy. How are you? Jean's in East Central Texas. Don't tell them where that's at, but I'm sure it's close. Hey, Teresa. How are you? Yep, sunflowers. They are some kind of pretty, I'll tell you. Let's see who else we got. Hey, Patty, how are you? There's Terry checking in from Fort Lauderdale. Appreciate the support there. It's odd how Facebook and videos and these pages work. Got a whole group of good close friends that we've never met. We may never, but we meet here from time to time and put my old Lone Star cap on and we talk a little bit. Cherish each and every one of you. Let's see here. We got Andrew Jaleef. Hope that's right. Oh man, you give me a double whammy on these pronunciations. Let's see. Interlochen, Florida. Maybe. There's Miss Brenda out in Beckville. Kathy's in Trinity and Hudson saying hello. But he's got a taste for chicken. Of course, I do too, but I know I'm not going to eat it raw, and he likes to eat it raw, so he's got to stay over there. We do an evening walk, Hudson and I, after the chickens roost, right at sundown. I let him out, and we take a walk through the pasture, and he gets his exercise and all of his energy out. He loves it. Let's see. I think he knows sunset, and it's about time to walk. There's Miss Pam. Thank you, from League City. Allison. And let's see who else we got on here. Mary, thank you. Hey, Carolyn, how are you? And there's Miss Rhonda. Kimberly's checking in. Holly's checking in. Luke from down under, how are you, buddy? Let's see, Gail in Kerrville, and there's my good friend Ladina. Well, I'm still soaking in the fact that I don't have to take it 21 inches at a time out here with that old push mower. Need to sharpen up the blades a little bit on that old Husqvarna, but man, what a blessing. More than that, what a blessing of friendship. Wally and Patsy. Love them so dearly. Anyway, all right. Well, y'all have a good evening. Be the light, and don't be scared to say hi to somebody at the lettuce leaf counter. Hey, Jason. Good to see you. There's Stephanie and Bill. All right. Y'all have a good evening. Be the light.